Shoutouts for this video go to Fleetwood J, Ron Cheeky Crouch, and also to Chris Davies, Horlicks, Trevor Rodway, Jan Ehlers, and the World of Connor. Thank you very much for commenting.
Oh no.
Mind the gap.
So, welcome to issue 21, and as per usual, what we're going to do is we're going to check off the parts, and you should have 21A, the tyre. Now we're going to pop that into soak straight away. Just like all the previous tyres, we're going to pop that into slightly uncomfortably warm water for about 2 to 3 minutes. And what I found in this instance is that if you pop the tyre in straight away, by the time you've checked the parts off, the tyre should be ready. The second part we've got is 21B, which is the red rear inner wheel rim, 21C, the brake disc, 21D, a washer, 4 GM screws, which are 2.3 by 5 millimeters, and 2 IM screws, which are 2.6 by 5 millimeters. So this week I did do something slightly differently. Normally I put my screws into a pill holder. This time I've actually used a specially made screw pot holder. Okay, so we've taken our tyre out of the warm water. As you can see, that's lovely and pliable. And what we're going to do next is we're going to dry this off, exactly the same as previous procedures. Lots and lots of kitchen roll, or something equally absorbent. Obviously this is disposable, but you might want to use some kind of cloth. But I find this is the best tool for the job, and I am going to repeat myself. Make sure this is thoroughly dry. Because being warm, there may be steam vapor in there, which obviously once it goes cool, that vapor will turn into water, and once the wheel's on there, the water won't be able to escape, and you may end up hearing water sloshing around the tyre. Okay, in the next stage we want to get our our wheel 21B. You'll notice that there's 4 notches around the edge. What I do is I pop 2 notches in there, and then the rest of it I'll just push in with my thumbs, then I'll turn it over and I'll push it back, and then I'll push it in again the other side, the second side, the first side, the second side, and do that as many times as you want until you feel that that tyre is in there about as well as you can get it. Okay, so next we want to get our tyre that we assembled last week, our tyre and wheel, and what we're going to do is we're going to place these two together. Now you will notice that there are 3 screw holes, one on each tyre. Now what you should notice is that these are not equidistant. There is only one way that you can put these tyres together, and you see there that on the other tyre they're not the same distance apart. And then what you need to do is just place them together like perhaps two layers of a cake, and then line one up, then make sure the second one is lined up, and once the second one's lined up, obviously check it, but you should find the third one is level. And then have a little look, have a little wiggle, make sure they're still in place. You see there, I've decided to take it out and try it again. So we're taking note of the positions of the screw holes. Doesn't matter which way round you get them, so long as you get them both lined up properly. Now what you will notice also as another check, the air valves, the valves which you would use in the real thing to blow up the tyres, they will actually be together when they're in properly. So we'll line those up, we'll place them together, make sure that they're together, and then try to keep those together. Now I was able to keep them together with my fingers. You may wish to put some masking tape on. I think the masking tape isn't needed. What I've actually done here is I've had another double check just with a torch. This particular torch comes from the Transport Benevolent Fund, a very worthy cause. We get offered when we're bus drivers, we get offered to join the membership. It's £1 a week, and the benefits are fantastic. If ever you find yourself in any difficulty, even if you're a retired bus driver, they will do their best to help. So once we've got those wheels together, we'll try to place them carefully, place them down, and then what we need to do is we need to pop in 3 GM screws. Now the way I like to do these is I like to put the first screw in just enough so that it bites. Don't put it in all the way, because if you do get the screw in wrong or the tyre is in wrong, you will need to take these out. So that first screw is in just enough to bite. Then we pop the second screw in. Then the third screw should be a little bit easier, and then once the third screw is in, we will check that they're still lined up properly. Once we're happy they're lined up, then we can go ahead and screw those screws in as tightly as they will go, and you'll know when they're in properly because the wheels won't wobble. Now in my particular case, it appeared to have a little wobble, however it was the tyres that wobble, so don't confuse the tyre wobble with wheel wobble. So long as the wheels aren't wobbling, then they're absolutely fine. The tyres will in all likelihood wobble a little bit because one of the tyres is still warm, so it's a little bit more pliable. So once it cools down, it should be absolutely fine. Now the next stage, stage 3, we need to first of all pop in the brake disc 21C. Now this is a disc of plastic. There's only one way that you can get it in because there is a little notch. Now on my particular brake disc, I found that there were 2 press marks on it. Where it came out of the press mould, there were 2 little marks. Now I personally chose to place the brake disc in so the punch marks were on the inside of the bus. However, looking at the previous wheel, I really don't believe it's going to make any difference because it's going to be very hard to see once the wheels are on. Okay, and then once that's on, we're going to place the the wheel on, and then we move to stage 4, where we're going to pop the washer 21D on. Now the washer, last time I found the washer was a little bit, the quality was just not quite 100%, and I did need to just scrape a little bit off. In this particular case, it went in pretty fine. It is a tight fit. So I chose to just push that washer in a little bit. In this particular case, I mean, I had various tools that I could have used which would have been better, but I always try to use something that everybody can find lying around the house. So I actually pushed it in with a pen lid. As you see, there's an ordinary Bic biro. I found that absolutely perfect for the job. And then once that's in, we'll secure that with an IM screw, just this one screw. And again, just like before, we're going to fasten that firstly just so that it bites, and then we're going to check that it is securing properly, and then once we're happy with that, we are going to fasten that in as tight as we can. Now a big shout out here to Dave Say and Dave Milne. Last week they suggested to me to just pop a little bit of washing up liquid on the end of the screw. This apparently helps the screw go in a little bit smoother, a lot easier, and apparently it stays in tighter. Now, as I explained to them on my live stream, I found this to be the case in this instance. However, I don't feel it's conclusive just on the one application, so I will be testing that over the next few weeks. And you know, it can't be any worse than not using washing up liquid, but on the strength of this one screw trying it out, I would say, yeah, pop a little bit of washing up liquid, just a little dab. Imagine you're super gluing that screw in. You just pop a little bit of super glue on the end of the screw, but obviously instead of using super glue, you use washing up liquid. The washing up liquid I use is very cheap corner shop washing up liquid. You don't need to use expensive stuff. There doesn't seem to be any difference between the brands. So thank you to the two Daves for that. I really appreciate that, and I will be doing that more often. Okay, and finally we reach stage number 5, where we pop on the rim cover, which is piece 20B, which we got last week in issue 20. Now this is a push fit connection. Now, as I'm explaining here, do not push from the outsides. That will actually be the weak points. What you want to do is give it a nice firm push with your thumb in the middle of the wheel rim cover, and that will go in nicely. Once it's in, you can just give it a little adjustment. Also, some people have reported that they're not going to be putting the rim cover on because they don't like it. That's absolutely fine. This is your build. You build it however you want. Okay guys, so that's it for this week. Nice easy part, something we've already done before, and it does now complete the rear part of the wheels on the chassis. That makes a lot of us very happy. So next up I will give you a shot of the assembly guide, which is a quick exploded view of how everything goes together. Okay, so on to the comments from last week's videos. From the live video that I've left up, Fleetwood J writes, "Thanks Penny, I just looked at my part 13 and it's wrong. Thanks for pointing that out. Hopefully my parts 15 to 18 will be here soon." Now the reference that Fleetwood J is making there, I did release another video regarding what I felt was an error on the dampers on issue 13. I will be releasing another video in the future regarding how to fix it. On my particular case it's been fixed now, and I will explain that, as I say, in another video. Ron Cheeky Crouch writes, "Hi Penny, I missed the live stream, just watching it now. Those screw trays are awesome." And then the comments from last Friday's video, Chris Davies writes, "Awesome video Penny, can't wait to see bus taking shape." Horlicks writes, "Hey Penny, looking great. As I keep saying, can't wait to get stuck in with my chassis and wheels. Your videos are keeping my appetite wet for what I have to come. Great videos, normal, very detailed." Trevor Rodway writes, Looking forward to seeing the 2 complete sets of wheel fitted to the chassis. Well, you've got it now, Trevor. They've now been fitted to the chassis and they're very nice. Jan Ehlers writes, "Hi Penny, very nice video again. Thanks for it. I have tried a water temperature of about 60 degrees C, should be about 140 degrees Fahrenheit or question mark, and let the tyre warm up for about 3 minutes. Works very well. As I am German, I am very curious about getting the next issues from my friendly Mark's news magazine store in the UK. Penny, you are very authentic to me. Makes much fun to look your videos." Now obviously Jan Ehlers, he's not English isn't his native language. Now you've got very technical there, Jan. 60 degrees Celsius, 140 degrees Fahrenheit for 3 minutes. Sounds about right to me. I just prefer to sort of go, if you see steam coming off the water, don't put your hands in, it's probably too hot. If you don't see steam, pop your fingers in. If it starts to get uncomfortable after a few seconds, you probably got it about right. And as I've actually explained in this video, I found that the amount of time it takes me to check the parts and get all the parts ready for the build, that's probably about as long as you need to warm the tyre up. Pull the tyre out, have a little look, see how flexible it is. If it's not very flexible, pop it in for a bit longer, sorry. And then World of Connor, he's left 2 comments, so I will give him 2 shout outs. One, he's put "Great vid Penny, last wheel next week," and then the next day he's put "Thanks again for the shout out." Well, here's another shout out for you. So and I do need, unfortunately, to I tried to make my videos a place of positivity. There was 1 comment left and I do try to address all the comments. However, the language was slightly colourful, so the comment has now actually gone. However, it was from someone who's called me an anorak, and said he seemed very surprised that I could talk so long about a wheel. So I will thank you for that comment. I do take a bit of pride in my videos. I try to do the best videos I possibly can with what I have. I appreciate that I cannot do the best videos. There are better videos out there, people with better equipment, maybe people have better ideas. I operate a very simple policy. If you like what I do, that's absolutely fine, please watch them. If you don't like what I do, I'm really not offended by that. So I will leave it there for this week, and you guys have a wonderful week.